techniques yet, but we shall see. Okay, Innki. Innki is the Tem that I have the most hours on, and the most upgrades on. So, hopefully this will go pretty well for us. As you can see, my Innki's movement speed is maxed out. Innki does not evolve like the other Tems. And you would think that means it's stronger early on, but it isn't really. It's a bit of a disappointing early Pansun vacuum, but that's okay. So for Innki, we get a choice of 2 techniques and 2 gears here. Kaleido Grease does not affect... I don't know if any of Innki's moves actually cause a status condition. I don't remember. And Knockback is not something we're that interested in. So it comes down to Crystal Spikes and Sparkling Bullet. Crystal Spikes is not affected by projectile number increases. It only increases based on its own. Sparkling Bullet is, and I do have a projectile increase. And Innki's current gear setup encourages electric moves much more than crystal moves. So we're going to be taking Sparkling Bullet early on here. Like Water Blade, Sparkling Bullet fires out of Innki's front. So we're going to make sure for boss fights and such that we line that up. We're offered Volgon Scale, Magnetic Module, and Capacitor as gears. Capacitor gives us an upgrade, actually. A synergy upgrade to test the Sparkling Bullet. However, spoiler alert, this upgrade is not actually that interesting to us. It causes Sparkling Bullet to turn into a bouncing projectile that is good for clearing out multiple enemies. But what we actually want Sparkling Bullet to do, as you'll see later in the run, is take out bosses and mini-bosses for us. So instead, we're going to take Tesla Prison. It immediately gets benefits from our projectile upgrade. And right away starts to have an impact in its area damage, and also, importantly, slowing down the crowds of enemies, which will work great with our movement speed on Innki to make it pretty difficult for us to take damage. We get offered Transistor once more. We only have the 1 projectile that speed can be increased on, so we won't be taking Transistor. Lunchbox can give us some nice tankiness, but again, like I just said, we're not going to be taking very much damage on Innki, so max HP is not really something we're interested in. We could take another Tesla Prison upgrade, but when you're offered gears that you really want for your endgame build, I generally recommend taking them. And even though Innki has quite a bit of cooldown reduction, Innki actually has an innate trait that raises cooldown reduction as you level up. I'm going to take Thermal Paste anyways. I find the cooldown reduction is quite useful to have. We're going to want to make sure, if possible, we get the fire rate increase and max it as much as we can, because that will benefit our cooldown reduction as well. Okay, so we're heading towards the top left corner of the map, and then we're just going to walk our way down, and then walk towards the first event when it spawns at the 2-minute mark. There's a crate. Great. Innki's ultimate is Electric Storm. It's a bunch of lightning that falls down and deals great damage. Actually, sorry, Electric Storm does not actually deal great damage. Its primary benefit is that, like Tesla Prison, it also slows things down. So, good to use to handle boss encounters and mini-boss encounters, but other than that, not that powerful. We're going to go ahead and pick up Thunder Strike. So now we have all 4 techniques. We're really excited to pick up the fire rate increase now, if we can. We didn't grab it, so now we have to choose which technique to prioritize. So, Thunder Strike and Tesla Prison are both very good at dealing large amounts of area damage, as is the ultimate Electric Storm. So what we're actually going to do with Innki is prioritize things that deal damage in ways that are somewhat controllable. For that, that means we're actually going to be maxing out DC Beam as much as we can. And DC Beam and Sparkling Bullet will combine to handle our elites, mid-bosses, and bosses. We're basically going to stand close to them and look at them, and that will kill them. Of course, DC Beam is also just, a strong move to have in its own right. You You can see we're going to take out things like that elite went down extremely quickly. So let's keep looking around for more crates. There's another one. Cool, the crystals are nice. More Pansuns is always good to have. Okay, we get offered Tesla Prison, Plasma Ball, Lunchbox, and Kismet Lens. As you can see, Innki has 3 techniques that increase our critical are impacted by critical probability. But we're actually going to go ahead and take Plasma Ball. Plasma Ball increases the damage of our Electro-type techniques, and we'll decide later whether or not we actually want to take DC Beam Plus. Much like Sparkling Bullet Plus, DC Beam Plus turns the move from a single target damage dealer to an area of effect damage dealer, which may not be necessary for us. It's going to depend on what our other gears are, and how much they will interact with Tesla Prison. Sorry, how much they will interact with DC Beam on their selves as well. We're not in that big of a rush to collect the cubes from enemies here because this nest event will always drop us a cube vacuum. So we're pretty happy to just stand here, turn it on, and then just stand there and look at it. It is destroyed. We get to choose between all of these things. Now, like I said before, I tend to emphasize increasing techniques before gears. When it comes to which technique to increase, I'm generally interested in the ones that deal damage more than the ones that are used for utility, like Tesla Prison is mostly used for slows. Thunderstrike gives us an extra projectile and lowers the cooldown. Perfect. Once again, not that interested in Lunchbox. And Thunderstrike is going to increase the damage and the critical probability. Perfect. We'll use our ultimate here just to sort of mop up these enemies that are frozen. And now we're going to head downwards and keep looking for chests. Another freeze, not really necessary. Okay, it's just the way the runs go sometimes. Keep walking it out. I believe the next event spawns at 3:30 or 3:45. So we're just going to keep looking for crates on the map while we do that. And there's one. My pathing, not the best for locating crates. I tend to forget where they are. We've got all these enemies grouped up, we might as well drop our ultimate on them. DC Beam is our primary upgrade. If we don't pick up a holster gear by the time DC Beam is ready to be maxed out, we'll probably just take the DC Beam Plus as a guaranteed way to get us to the boss fight without any issues. The Cube Vacuum is a nice pickup there. Yeah, it looks like we're going to get to a maxed out DC Beam before anything else. Control Zone. Time to stand in one spot. There's the DC Beam upgrade. Like the other characters, we don't have to care too much with Innki about the direction we're facing. Sparkling Bullet, just make sure it hits something that's in the circle. And there we go. Thunderstrike upgrade is definitely welcome at this point in the run. With Thunderstrike and DC Beam upgraded, we don't lack for damage. And in fact, we're about to be offered DC Beam Plus. If you are able to be offered a synergy technique, you get offered it, I believe, guaranteed. You can see there's DC Beam Plus. Oh, we did get offered Stim Pack here. I'm going to take Stim Pack first, and then DC Beam Plus later. Stim Pack increases our fire rate. That combines with Thermal Paste, of course, to make sure that we get maximum uptime on our techniques. As you can see, pretty much everything that gets hit by one of Innki's moves dies immediately. So we're mostly limited by our uptime in terms of the damage we can deal. We're going to save Electric Storm for the mid-boss. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take DC Beam Plus now. So, DC Beam Plus is not affected by projectile increases, but it is affected by both fire rate. It makes the Chain Lightning bounce a little faster, I believe, or just come out of Innki a little bit faster. But now our strategy is changing a little bit from dealing tons of single target damage. As you see, it took me a little while to knock out Grandpa there, because we didn't have DC Beam constantly focused on it. We get a couple of nice upgrades. Thunderstrike is maxed out, and Stimpack is increasing our fire rate, so... Whereas on the other characters, upgrading Thermal Paste is often more beneficial. On Innki, because our cooldown reduction is already pretty short, we're pretty happy to take upgrades onto Stimpack. Sparkling Bullet is going to be very important for us, however, now, because we've taken DC Beam Plus. So it's definitely a priority upgrade for us. We're also looking for, I believe it's the Sonar upgrade, or gear, because it will unlock the Thunderstrike Plus upgrade for us. With Thunderstrike Plus and DC Beam Plus, it won't actually matter whether or not we have single target damage, because those two moves will deal enough damage to pretty much win us the run on their own. But as you can see, our early investment into technique upgrades and damage increases are paying huge dividends for us. We're very hard to kill, we move very quickly, we're leveling up reasonably fast, and getting lots of crates, so lots of opportunities to pick up Pansuns. Keep that going. Again, we're prioritizing techniques here. We get a little more damage and a little more uptime on Tesla Prison, which is great to see. Get that all upgraded. We alive? We're thriving, Paichu. We are thriving. We're hunting crates. Looking for little boxes on the ground. This way? Maybe. I don't know. Waiting for the next event to spawn as well. We've hit the top part of the map. Let's go to the right. Oh, our event is in the bottom right corner there. Let's make our way down there. And pick up any crates we run into along the way. Fire chip. Does typing matter at all? Great question, Platform. Yes. Typing, it does matter. You'll notice there are, I believe, 4 colors of numbers that come out of stuff. Doesn't really show up when you pause the game, but you'll see there's some golden numbers. The golden numbers are critical hits. The green numbers are super effective. And the red numbers are not very effective. And I believe white numbers are no effect. There are actually not that many... The typing is not one-to-one to Temtem. There's some strange things, like, for example, Gario resists electric attacks, and so does Gazuma. The electric type chart works a little strange. Anyways, again, Thermal Paste is not that important of an upgrade on us because we're getting more cooldown reduction as we level up, so we're happy to take Plasma Ball for a little more output on bosses. Most of our moves kind of just wipe out everything that they hit anyways, but if the last parts of the chain of DC Beam are also good to get damage up to the point where they can take out enemies as well, more reliably. Enemies will spawn that are more resilient as the run goes on here. Good to upgrade our damage to match. There were so many cubes that when we just picked up that cube vacuum, we jumped all the way to level 21. Fire rate is probably the most important upgrade of all those, so we'll pick it up. Sparkling Bullet, we're trying to get maxed out. Sparkling Bullet, we're trying to get maxed out. So a nice little pack of upgrades there. And that's why you tend to want to run around and look for the crates. Because they will upgrade your... Yeah, they'll give you more levels more quickly, is what I meant to say. Sparkling Bullet is now maxed out, so we've got lots of firepower to take out bosses with. Right now, the bosses and mid-bosses are the same, so I know Piranha and Osiara are on the way. So it's good that we've got Sparkling Bullet in a good spot to deal with them. Let's go ahead and make our way down to the event. What, a movement speed upgrade from that crate. Grab the crate over here. I believe this is a summoning circle. Yes, it is. We're going to let this thumb in. We're going to let the Aharos summon and walk towards us, and then we're going to press this button and wipe them all out and grab a bunch of experience. Tesla Prison, again, we get an extra projectile out of the equation. Thank you for that. And finally, we're going to max out Tesla Prison, which max out all of our techniques. Pretty good to have 9 minutes into the run. And there's another event waiting for us. I believe this is a control zone. We should not have any problem taking out. There it is. Alright, let's see if we can do it without moving. Ow. Ow. No, no, no. Oh, ouch. If only there was something I could have done about that. So if you're curious, chests will never give you new gears or techniques. They'll only level up ones that already exist. If everything's totally upgraded, they'll usually give you fruit or crystals, which increase your Pan-Sun count. In this case, we get a nice fire rate increase and also a thermal paste increase. So we are living the good life. Piranha will spawn in about 10 seconds. We've got Electric Storm waiting for him. Listen, this is not going to go well for Piranha. This is going to go about as well for Piranha as Innki versus Piranha goes in the game. We'll get that stim pack upgraded again. Yeah, that's about how it goes. The mid-boss for Denny's does give quite a bit of upgrades. As you can see, our stim pack has become completely maxed out, which is a huge benefit to us. We've also picked up 10% more damage on Plasma Ball, and lots of Pan-Suns as well. For some reason, the Pan-Suns don't immediately get applied to your Pan-Sun count. Trust that they will be counted in there soon. Pan-Sun Feast event is on its way, so usually with Innki I finish with somewhere in the area of 1,300 to 1,500 Pan-Suns. Maybe we'll be a little under this time, but we'll see. That's with no Pan Lopes, so. Okay. Plasma Ball could pick up a little more damage, and we'll focus on Thermal Paste once that's all done. I'm sort of watching the cooldown bars in the top part of the screen, and I noticed that the only one that's taking a little time here is the Tesla Prison. Normally it wouldn't be such an issue for cooldown reduction, but because we've got such a high fire rate, all of the Tesla Prisons are getting onto the screen really quickly, so it's getting us into cooldown mode a little bit faster, which is good for us. Yeah. We've had a really good run in terms of picking up the experience vacuums as well. Level 27 by 11 minutes is probably by 13 minutes, probably 12, 13 minutes is where we're going to end up. That's actually a really good pace. But like I said before, I have a lot of upgrades on Innki, and the more upgrades you get in this game, the stronger you get, of course. And so it's no surprise that Innki is almost effortlessly cutting its way through the enemies at this point. You can reset the skills if you wish to sort of play with no skills and only things you've unlocked through kudos. We get offered the holster. So normally, holster would be a A+ pickup on Innki. It increases the number of projectiles by 1, and then it has one upgrade that increases the number of projectiles by a further 1. As you can see, DC Beam Plus is grayed out. Normally, it would up the damage. It would also up the number of projectiles of DC Beam, which would make DC Beam an incredible boss killer. Because we've taken Electro Ball and upgraded to DC Beam Plus, we're not going to get that benefit this run. Obviously, we don't really need it. Let's go ahead and take Sonar. Sonar is going to give us Thunder Strike Plus, which turns Thunder Strike into an area of effect attack. And that is going to take away any thought of us being anywhere close having to worry about what's going on here. Holster is also really synergistic with both Thermal Paste and, in particular, Stim Pack. So it would definitely be a consideration here as well. Basically, you get onto your cooldowns faster, the more stuff that the more quickly that all of your attacks come out, and Holster increasing the number of projectiles actually delays the amount of time until you start going under cooldown. So it is nice to have the fire rate increase with Holster as well. Holster is a pretty much must pick up gear early on in the game on almost every character. The only one that I don't really like running Holster on is Ori, because much like DC Beam Plus, Data Burst Plus does not utilize the projectile number increase. Let's pick up Sonar. We've only got maybe 2 or 3 more level ups before the end of the run, so we'll pick up Thunder Strike Plus and be pretty happy with what is already a run that we're going to win pretty easily. Just gets a little more easy. We can go for a quick kill onto Ociara if our positioning pays off and Ociara is kind to us. One of the nice things is getting to, rerun through all these cubes. Oh, pardon me, as we make our way to the next event. It's sometimes, instead of a Gario being an elite, you'll get an elite Droply instead, and I think those look really cute. I'd like to, before I turn on Pansun Feast, to pick up another level, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get there in time. Let's see. Okay, I only need one bar. I can run around in circles for a bit here. Perfect. Just Thunder Strike Plus is going to KO enemies a little bit faster, and so we'll do that, and then turn on Pansun Feast to hopefully maximize the amount of Pansuns that we get. We want to stay close to the middle of the map here. If you kill enemies outside of the circle, they don't drop Pansuns, they drop cubes instead. This run is so over for us, though, that we can focus more just on trying to get as much Pansuns as we can. Excellent stuff. Go sweep up all those, and it looks like we've got another event off to our left. It's actually pretty rare for this event to be on the left-hand side. Oftentimes, both Pansun Feast and this nest event that spawns happen in the Windward Fort area. As such, we're going to have to kind of move our butt here if we want to get there before Ociara spawns. Where are we at now? 1,046? Well, that's a pretty good Pansun number. We're going to get a big crystal from this nest, which will give us a pretty good number. Yeah, we're up to 1,326 now, and then another 39 from there. Thermal Paste upgrade. We probably don't get to level up again before Ociara will try. But I'm just going to save my ultimate and then use it when Ociara spawns in, and that should pretty much be all she wrote, unless Ociara gives us some trouble in terms of if it uses a lot of charges and doesn't stand still as much. Nope, it went for the circle right away, so it should be dead before it takes another move. Yep. That was about a 9-second Ociara. Pretty impressive stuff. So as you can see, even though it was only active for about a minute and 59 seconds in the game, Thunderstrike Plus dealt a ton of damage. It was the 4th most damaging technique in the game. DC Beam Plus also did a lot of work. But yeah, a fire rate increase led to a lot of damage coming out, as did the cooldown reduction. And that's Innki for you. For Innki's skills, I really enjoy getting movement speed leveled up as quickly as you can, but the primary thing is you want to get the extra projectile. In particular with Innki, early on in runs, Innki struggles to deal with large groups of enemies, or even with efficiently killing enemies to get experience cubes. The projectile upgrade is like massive for that. So that's 1 crit damage, 2 crit probability, 2 area, and then 1 projectile. I would kind of do this first, then pick maybe 2 or 3 levels in speed, and then max out these, because at that point you're going to be able to pretty reliably clear runs as long as you focus more on increasing your damage early on. But then luck, Pansun multiplier, and range are great ways to make it so you get as many Pansuns as possible per run. You want to do a co-op game? I don't think during the stream today. We can do co-op maybe during the open beta when it comes out on the 14th. But for now, I'm just doing like a quick breakdown to each character. And that's Innki. So we've only got one more character to go.